You are listening to Just Roll With It. Jonathan is your lore master. Christine plays the channeler Amena Valare. Neil plays the Ogier Quercus son of Ilex. Aradia plays the channeler Pimur Dothorin Akel. And Fate plays the child of the light, Lance Akashi.
The coming of age ceremony, the Festival of Lights, the Feast of Lights was going on, and you were all attending. There were a bunch of games of chance. Pimur met somebody, had a little thing going on. And then you attended the coming of age ceremony at the very end. There was a big speech, swords were drawn, Hadoris were starting to get passed out, and then you heard someone calling for their young child, and that's where we ended on that. So, let me read you what I have here. Adra! Has anyone seen my Adra? The woman seems to be prowling the back edges of the assembled crowd, eyes wide with fear and panic evident in her eyes. She is a handsome woman of middle years, her cloak wrapped tightly about her to ward off the chill of the approaching winter night. The town master, in the middle of distributing Hadori to the newly minted adults, finally seems to hear her through the din of the crowd and stops in mid-motion, a Hadori hanging awkwardly between him and the eager-eyed youngster waiting for it. What's that? Sarissa? What are you saying? Come here, my dear. The woman makes her way forward and spends a few minutes in panicked conversation with Harbin, the town master, who gesticulates as he talks. The young woman in front of him eyes the Hadori as a cat would a mouse, as it swings about wildly while the town master talks to the woman. Finally, he makes a few placating gestures and steps forward to address the assembled crowd. We seem to have a young child missing. Can the able-bodied among us please begin to search? It's getting dark, and the child must be frightened near to death. The crowd begins to break apart and split in multiple different directions. A torch seems to materialize from nowhere, and soon several dozen of them are lit, and able-bodied adults scatter off in all directions to go look for the young girl. She was after a winter flower. She wanted to give it to her brother, Sarissa calls out helpfully to the departing searchers, while the town master enwraps her in a comforting embrace. So, you guys see all this, you hear all this, what do you guys do?
Join the search, I guess?
I'm going to turn and look at the Ogier and be like, hey, winter flowers, this is your specialty. Where did your book say to go?
There are more flowers out there than you might imagine, my friend. We can have a check on the types of flowers in my notepad, but apart from that, I suggest that we would be as well advised to split up and search as with the rest of the townsfolk.
Quercus, why don't you go ahead and give me a nature check, which should be, ridiculously easy for you.
So we'll see how the dice are rolling. 13.
Okay, so with a 13, you know that when she says winter flower, it is a breed of flower, a species of flower that prefers cold, dark environments, and it generally only blooms in the winter months. Occasionally, they are hidden in caves and other sorts of things, and they are sometimes seen as a token of good luck or affection, and so they're often sought out for young adults declaring their interest in another, or as a celebratory sort of, like we would give out a rose at an event or something. It's sort of seen as that. And it's generally considered more precious because it takes effort to go find them. They're not just growing about everywhere. You have to go specifically find somewhere dark and dank and cold to go find them.
We have recently been to somewhere
caves.
Dark and dank and cold.
Yeah. How far away from town is that cave system? The mine? That is not a mine?
They call it a mine. It's like half a day.
So a long-ass way for a kid. You know how old this kid is, but it's a ways.
Are there other caves nearby that we just don't know about?
Potentially. It's not uncommon.
Well, I mean, if we don't know about them, we don't know about them.
So I guess, we could just take off for the cave that we'll all get murdered if we go back to.
Does seem
that
to
could
be
be
what
fun.
the story is suggesting.
Or there could be other caves. You don't know.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Would we... I guess probably Pimur would not have been noticing flowers during all of that firefighting and whatnot. So there's no way to know if we saw flowers there before. Unless, of course, Quercus happened to note the flora and fauna while we were trading charades with the...
That was not the right type of landscape for these winter flowers. There is a river running along the northwest side of the town and overhung by some fairly significantly sized trees. That might be an alternative location, slightly closer by.
Well, rivers are dangerous, so maybe we should go check by the river?
We could do that.
Yeah.
Do we all want to go together?
I'm happy to quickly run over there. My legs are likely to carry me rather faster than the rest of you humans.
I can outrun an Ogier.
Okay, I will go and check by the river, which looks to be fairly close by. The rest of you, I suggest you prepare for a return to the caves. If you want to.
I want to, I guess, fan out just in any direction that doesn't appear to be covered by another able-bodied adult. Sort of trying to create a nice, thorough amount of people looking.
Okay. The crowd was fairly sizable as they all scattered. So really, if you're trying to go, every direction seems covered. Although, as with any group, it's sort of haphazard. So whichever direction you go in, you're probably going to find somebody. But even if a searcher is going in a specific direction, doesn't mean they're going to find anything.
My inclination would be to go back to the cave, but I'm sure as hell not going alone.
My inclination would be to ask if there's anybody else around who maybe gathers these flowers and knows of other caves that we aren't aware of. Something a little bit closer.
Good point.
And my inclination is to go tell the children to light before I go do anything this time.
Good idea.
So I've disappeared off. I'm eager to try and find the flowers and the child. What should I be rolling to see if I uncover anything?
Why don't you go ahead and give me a survival check to see if you can spot any sort of tracks or any sort of sign that someone has come through recently.
8.
So you're looking, and it's difficult for you. You're still getting used to humans, and human sizes are all very small, and they're all very hasty. So even if someone was, like, running, or it's a small child, maybe they were skipping, it's not logical, and it's not orderly, and it doesn't... There are tracks, but you're able to tell pretty much that they're older, and they're also larger than you assume a small child's footprints would be.
Yeah, and these small human children are very small. I could easily mistake their tracks for a squirrel or something like that, I suppose.
Yep. Small kids and squirrels. Not a whole lot of difference between them.
Yep. In that case, I shall return rather confused and disappointed to everyone else.
Would there be... Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, looking at the map, it looks like over to the right, is that west or east?
So it is... North is straight up, so that would be
east.
To the east.
Okay, so east, it looks like there are a whole bunch of rock outcroppings. Could there possibly be any little caves in there? It's just outside of town.
So, like, out this direction?
Yeah.
Potentially. You don't know specifically, but you also haven't spent a whole lot of time wandering around town looking for things.
I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, the Ogier just went off to look at the river or whatever, so maybe you and I should go east and look at potential caves in the not half a day's hike away area. Because the middle of the night.
Yeah, and maybe on the way we could just stop someone local and ask, hey, by any chance, do you know, are there any like caves or anything in this direction?
Yeah, maybe start there. So can we grab a townsperson and be like, do you know if there's any caves anywhere in like within an hour's hike of here?
Sure. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
17.
Okay, so there's quite a few people around, and they're all kind of Adra, you know, they're doing the sort of en masse searching group type tactic, and you're able to see there's sort of an older man, and you're basically able to snag him, get his attention. Oh, caves, you say? Well, you know, the old ruined manor there to the east. That whole hillside is riddled with potential small caves. It used to be someone's manor house, so there's all kinds of like supply caves and things all riddled throughout there. But we've had them boarded up. Nobody goes in there as far as we know.
That's definitely where we need to go check.
Yeah, let's
Come on,
go.
Amena.
Let's go check it out.
Small children and getting into places that you're not supposed to get into. It's a thing.
No.
I was a small child once.
Was?
Oh, shut up. Just because I'm 3 feet shorter than all the rest of you, my character isn't.
No. Yeah, we've got to remember, Pimur could look me in the face pretty handily.
Yep.
Okay, so let me do this real quick. So why doesn't whoever wants to go ahead and give me a survival check to see if you can spot anything.
16.
Oh, I got a 13.
Lance got a 17.
Okay, so there are lots of footprints, but there is pretty definitively a small set of footprints that takes off in that direction, and pretty everybody would guess that they fit an 8 to 10-year-old girl.
Okay, so we don't have the Ogier of ass-kickitude with us.
No, but I can set things on fire and tie things up with air, so...
Yeah.
This is very true. And Lance, you're with us.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 3 of us are there. I would be honestly inclined to go grab the Ogier before spelunking too much. Just because, I don't know, last time we got into a cave, we almost died.
I mean, that's a good point.
I shan't be long.
Okay, well, once we spot that, I'm going to look back and try to spot if the Ogiers come back and go grab him, drag him over to the group.
I'm already running on my way back, yelling at the top of my lungs, Pimur, I didn't find her. And everyone in the entire town at this point knows that I failed in my mission.
Quercus, come over here. We think we found something.
Yep. Okay, what have you found? My ears are quivering now.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Okay, see these tracks? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're pretty sure that's her. And a local told us that there's caves this way.
Okay. They do look larger than a squirrel, don't they?
A squirrel? Are you
I was
kidding me right
struggling to
now?
differentiate between these small human things and squirrels, and the tracks all look so alike.
You definitely need more animal science, less botany.
Yeah, maybe so.
You were so young, man.
All right, so do we have a torch or anything, or are we just going to do magic light?
Would you have wanted to grab a torch when everybody it was definitely one of those scenes where somebody had a lit torch and then all of a sudden torch reading passed out, so you would have had the opportunity to grab one if you'd wanted to.
Yeah, I think I would have grabbed one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's less work than attempting to seize the source all the time.
Fair enough. Okay.
So we follow the tracks.
You indeed follow the tracks, and so if you look to the Roll20, you will find yourselves in the area just basically underneath the ruined manor. It's got kind of that wedding cake tiered look to it, to the mountain that it's on, and you're sort of at the base of that.
Okay, Roll20 is all black.
We're in a cave.
Thanks.
It should be...
Thanks, Quercus. We are in a cave.
Okay. All right. So, anyway, you see what appears to be a small cave, hardly more than a fissure in the rock. So it's probably 4 feet wide by 5.5 feet tall. A very thin, just sort of slit in the rock.
Ooh. Yeah, so do the little footprints lead up to it?
They do appear to, yeah.
Okay, so I kind of want to maybe poke my head and torch just in there and see if there's the kid, like, right there, or flowers, or anything.
Okay. So you go ahead and you stick your head in and you kind of wave the torch around. It's very chilly. Like, there's a discernible temperature difference once you poke your head in. Why don't you go ahead and roll me a perception check?
Okay. 10.
Okay, so as you're kind of looking and listening, you hear things moving.
So I pull my head back out. Guys, this is a very small hole, but I'm concerned that maybe she is down there. Because there's something down there.
Yeah, I hope she's not down there, but I think we should probably check. So I just start calling her name, hoping for some sort of response. Do I hear anything? No?
No response.
Can you describe those sounds?
Well, this is a very small cave to crawl into.
I'm a very small human.
Oh, you are the shortest, aren't you? I keep forgetting that.
Anyone got rope?
I don't know.
I have something better than rope, but I've been practicing a lot. Can you guess what it is?
You have air?
I don't know that I trust something that I can't see.
You trust in the light, don't you?
Oh. Get some aloe vera for the burn.
Yes, but you're not the creator.
Neither are you.
I have a 50-foot hemp rope, if that will do anything.
Okay. Can I do a survival check to make sure it's tied nice and tight?
What are you tying it around yourself?
Yes.
Gonna send in a child of a light on a string to go get the lost child.
7. I feel like it's really tight.
It's very secure.
So I'm going to look around and be like, it's dark out. Anyone else want to check this for me?
Sure, I'll give it a yank.
Not that hard, jeez.
Good. I don't want to lose you, man. Still have to win more money off of you, remember? So I guess give you the torch and you go spelunking?
Did you check to make sure it was tied?
Oh, I wave my hand at it.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I got a 12. There you go.
It's on there. It's not.
Right.
It's not going to fall off. It's not. It's also not.
It might never come off.
I'll before you go, I'll just tap you on the shoulder and offer you a couple of days' worth of rations in case you get lost.
Just in case you can't get you out.
I'm not Ryder, you guys.
I mean, no, but I am not using the power to get your ass out of there if you get stuck.
I mean, I would try, but my specialty is fire.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, I'm going to put those in my pack, and I'm going to move my sword from my hip to my back so I'll be able to move around a bit better.
Okay.
And then we're going to go diving.
Are you grabbing the? I didn't hear. Are you taking the torch, or are you just?
Or do you want a glowing sword again?
We're going to do the glowing sword because I don't want to hold fire in my hand while climbing.
Probably a good idea.
Okay.
And then you guys could toss it down or something.
Totally. Okay, so do I have to do the Arcana check thing in order to
You do.
make the sword get all flashy?
Are you in the?
I have something to look at. I have a target. I can aim my thoughts.
Okay, roll me an Arcana check.
11.
It's there, but you can feel it. You're picturing it, the hammering of the metal and the shaping, and you're almost there. But every time you feel like it, it slips away. You get excited, and it slips away.
Blood and flaming buttered onions. God. Ugh.
Why onions? The one thing that Lance can't eat.
It makes it all the more effective
So
of a curse,
mean.
right?
Why are you so mean to him?
Now, I'm just mad. I want to channel, and for once I want to channel, and it's not fucking working.
So I guess I'm going to climb down and hope they toss the
So
torch down
I
to
should
me.
have been more specific. It's the fissure doesn't go down. The fissure goes in. So you're going to be crawling like horizontally in.
Oh, in that case, I'm going to take the pack off and
I mean, just a thought here. Should we maybe throw something hard in there to see if we can sort of judge how far down you're going to be falling? Because we don't know whether this extends up, if it extends down once you're inside. We have no idea what it's like in there, right?
like the torch.
Or I could throw in a firebolt and like light the whole place up.
But if the little girl's unconscious and you hit her,
Then that would be really horrible, and I would feel terrible.
so I'm going to take a torch with me and I'm going to make sure that Quercus has the other side of the rope.
What are you saying?
That I think I weigh more than everybody. I don't know.
Compact packages, short and wide.
Yep. Yeah, we'll go with that.
I'm right there holding the other end of the rope with my thumbs up. Just, you can do this.
I'm sure Kelsey would verify that an Ogier would be the best belay for anything involving ropes.
Indeed.
Okay, so you're taking the torch and you're starting to crawl in,
Yep.
and you're kind of doing the army crawl, and the passage is about 1.5 feet by 2 feet as you're starting to crawl. So
Okay.
Very quickly you go from kind of sidling in sideways to having to crawl on your hands and on your knees, and then sort of it goes from like being able to keep your elbows wide to keeping your elbows in tight, and it's dark and cold, and it's not wet, there's no moisture, but it's just like the rock itself is very cold. And you do this for what actually feels like an eternity, but is in reality no more than 5 or 6 feet. And then it widens, and you kind of slide down, and you slide down like 6 inches. You just kind of come out, and you find yourself in a small, confined, like almost naturally occurring chamber of rock.
I'm gonna turn around back towards the hall, or the hole. Caca!
Did he just find a bird in there?
He is the bird. He's a cuckoo bird.
Jeez. Okay, I hear them mumbling, so I know that they heard the caca.
Oh, I wasn't mumbling.
But from that distance.
Okay, so shout down in there. Did you find her?
I'm gonna take my torch and what do I see?
Go ahead and roll me a perception check. Let's find out.
I don't want to. This is where I always start. Oh no, we're not righter. 17.
Ooh, nice.
17. So you're looking around. You see the cave floor. You see two. The hallways is not the proper term. There are 2 clefts to either side that look like they might slip into other passageways or other naturally occurring formations. And as you're kind of looking around with the torch, you hear and something gets close enough to the torch's flame that it lights on fire real quick and burns up very quickly, and you have the smell of something burning. And as you continue to look around and you look up, the top of the chamber is covered in webs.
I hate you with a fucking passion.
The strands that you can see are almost as thick as the rope that you're tied to.
Oh, dude.
So those were faint chittering sounds that you heard when you stuck your head in.
Why do you have to describe it thus?
Sorry, I need to take a moment to collect myself. Fuck. Do I notice any footprints on the ground?
With a 17, yes, you would see that they almost. You're a decent tracker. You're kind of looking around. It honestly looks like maybe she came in here and didn't know which way she was going. The tracks crisscross themselves a couple of times and dance around in a circle, and then they head off towards the left.
I'm going to pull as much of the rope through the hole as I can.
Quercus, what is he doing? Why is he taking all the rope? What's happening? Is he falling?
I think he wants.
No, I'm not taking it fast, but I'm like,
Oh, okay.
I want the rope on my side.
So I'll just continue feeding him the rope. So you have 50 feet in total. You've gone about 10 feet so far. Was it?
Yep.
Lord Master, it was 6 to 7 feet in the confined area, so he's maybe 10 to 12 feet in front of us?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. They go crisscrossing and everything, and I've got a left and a right choice.
Yes.
Well, then we have to go left. So I'm gonna look down the left passage. Does it seem to be more or less cobwebs? And they're cobwebs, not spider webs, right?
They are large webs, and as you're looking to the left, it's a very. You're going to have to sidle your way through if you want to get that way. And there appear to be quite a few webs. Some of them are older, some of them aren't as big, but they do appear to maybe get more dense as you go that direction.
I'm gonna go look at the right side.
Go ahead and give me another perception check.
20.
Potentially less, but also not an insignificant amount of webbing that crosses. Although, as you're looking with a 20, you can see that there are also webs that cross sort of where you would basically have to sidle your way through webbing, and it's unbroken.
Okay.
In that.
That's what I was just gonna ask. Is there any of it broken? Okay, off to the left side, I'm gonna hold the torch up to some of these spider webs. Do they burn?
They do.
Burn them all.
But if I burn them, the spiders come.
It doesn't. As you're holding your torch up, like the strands themselves will start burning, and then they peter out. Like it's not like starting a fire or anything. It's the same like if you were to hold up a lighter to an actual spider's nest, how the silk just kind of disintegrates and melts and burns away.
Yeah, but then the spiders know that something's going on, and then they come and investigate. I know how this shit works. I know the way you think. So we're gonna start sidling across. Keeping the torch in front,
They'll probably come and investigate you no matter what at some point anyway, so I would just burn them.
Yeah, we're just gonna, we're just gonna, I don't get a choice because I'm gonna break the webs to get through to follow her, so yeah, we're just gonna start Yeah, you know what I mean. Burn.
With a 20, as you're looking down the left side, you can see that it looks like some of the webbing had covered that direction, but it has been ripped and is sort of, there's some like artificial breeze kind of, flowing through. The fissure seems to be acting like a wind tunnel, so there is a bit of a breeze coming through, and the strands are sort of just swaying back and forth, and they are broken, like they aren't connected, they aren't anchored to the wall.
How stupid is this child?
I mean, she's probably scared.
Yeah, we're gonna continue into the hole.
Okay.
Does Quercus know Morse code? Can I tug in Morse code on the rope?
Help me.
Before you went in, I'm sure we would have discussed what a single tug on the rope meant and what another 2 tugs or 2 tugs means come and get me.
A bunch of tugs means help.
Alright, so where are we at now? Going down the hallway, burning everything in front of me.
Waving your torch around, and you sidle through, and there's a bit that's, you kind of have to breathe in a little bit, and then you pop through, and you're in another smaller but similar kind of natural open cavern, and there is a large bundle in the corner that appears to be spider silk.
Oh no.
You've played too much Skyrim lately. We're gonna go... We're gonna look around and see what else I see. 15. What else is in the room besides a really obvious thing?
So you start looking up and looking around, and as you bring the torch up, you see glittering
I'm so glad I thought this through and didn't pull a writer.
with a faint skittering noise. Large bulbous spiders the size of small ponies begin to descend on strands of silk as thick as
Spiders?
I need you.
Multiple?
The size of ponies? It was nice knowing you, Lance.
5. And oh no. How far down was this hallway?
Are you still not able to see on the roll 20?
Not in the slightest.
Alright, that's annoying. But we will theater of the mind this, that is fine.
I'm glad it's fine for you, sir.
So what was Lance's initiative?
5.
5.
He's scared.
At what point can he start frantically yanking on the rope?
So, yeah, that was my question is, how far down this hallway did I go?
Maybe halfway, you're probably 25 feet.
Son of a bitch. This is what I get for trying to think ahead, thinking this dungeon was, or this thing was gonna be bigger.
You should have let me do the fucking fireballs, and all those spiders would be dead. I'm just saying.
Well, except now I'm around 2 corners. Okay, so yeah, I rolled a 5.
Okay, so there are 3 spiders. One of them gets to act before you. And again, large dog, small pony sized, is going to run up and try and get you with its pinchers.
Oh.
So blighty.
I'm gonna scream like a little girl.
Can we hear that?
You can most definitely hear that.
What was that? What's going on in there?
Oh, shit.
That is an 18.
Why, yes, that hits.
At the first opportunity, I'm so diving headfirst into that crack, too, because not letting Lance face whatever made him scream like that by himself.
Okay, so that is 4 damage.
Okay.
And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
13.
Okay, so it bites into you, and you feel hot, like hot magma at the site of the bite, but you're able to shake it off, and you do not take poison damage.
Oh, good. Good.
And it is your turn.
We're just gonna start moving around and getting my blood pumping. 10 to AC.
That misses. So you swing out. You just got bit, and you swing out, and it's skittering around. It's moving too fast for you.
Bonus action, I'm gonna swing again, I believe. Where did I write it down?
I can feel like things crawling on my feet now.
Right?
So can I start going into the thing and following the rope?
So why don't Amena, Pimur, and Quercus, why don't you also roll initiative for me, just so we can put you in the order?
Okay. 14.
Okay.
And my second attack did less than 10, so it definitely missed.
That was more of a flail than an attack.
20.
Nice.
And Quercus also rolled a 5. So who has, I imagine, Lance?
My dex is +3. What's yours?
Mine is
Quercus.
+1.
Okay, so Lance, and then Quercus, and then Spider. Okay, so Amena, you are up.
I'm up.
You are up.
I guess I'm going in there. So I guess I just kind of like take my skirt and like pull the back through the legs and then like tuck it up in front so it's sort of like I have pants on.
You're gonna gird your loins. That's literally what that phrase means.
Oh, it does? I didn't know that.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna find that while you
Would
go.
you? Because I'd like to see a citation on this, please.
We're gonna do this.
So anyway, I'm gonna gird my loins and I'm gonna like...
Episode title.
I'm gonna wiggle my way in through this fissure in the rock wall and go after my friend.
Okay.
Can I see anything? I mean, does the light from his torch extend back to where I am?
You can see when you come into that first chamber, you can hear now things coming from the left-hand side, and you probably see the residual light enough that you can tell that that's the direction that he's in.
All right, I hear screaming like a little girl, so I'm gonna follow that sound.
And you're also able to squeeze through. Because we're doing theater of the mind, I'm just going to say with your movement speed, you're basically able to get through into the small chamber with him and the spiders. And that would be movement.
God.
Yeah, and you see 3 very large spiders on the ground. Their front legs are up, and they're doing the spider defensive pose. And they're chittering and kind of just moving around.
I'm going to look over at Amena as she comes through and be like, you are not the one I expected to come through.
And I'm going to be like, dude, listen, you're one of us, so I go where I'm needed. I'm almost an Aes Sedai and a blue. So, like, I kind of have to.
Meanwhile, I'm pouting that you managed to get in there before me.
I'm quick.
You are.
Okay, so Amena, you still have an action if you'd like to do something now that you're in the room. That was just the movement.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to kill one of these spiders. I'm wondering, since I can't see them on the map and I'm using the theater of my mind, if they're lined up in such a way that if I were to throw out a fireball or firebolt, if I could take out multiple spiders at once.
Firebolt in and of itself is only a single target, and even if it wasn't that, so Firebolt is a directed spell. It's a targeted, I want to hit you, as opposed to Fireball, which is, to whom it may concern, everybody in this room is getting crispy.
Yeah.
Kind of like you with Thunderwave.
That would come in really handy right now, though.
So, and even if you did have an AoE spell, they're kind of all just walking forward and then skittering back. They're not lining themselves up very effectively.
So even if I did a firebolt at one and it flew back and hit into another one, it wouldn't set that other one on fire. Like, there's no chance that I could do like a croquet type thing with these spiders.
A firebolt is not that strong, no.
What about the weaves of air that you used on that giant bear? Surely that should be sufficient for a few spiders.
Oh,
Spiders always merit fire.
Could I weave up like multiple spiders with air?
No. You could do a directed something with air at a single spider, but you guys are still just level 2. You haven't mastered the multiple attack thing yet.
What if I'm a prodigy?
You've got lots of death gates coming out everywhere.
That'd be awesome.
Everybody thinks they're special.
Oh, well, in this case. All right, so I think I'll do a firebolt at whichever one is currently threatening my friend Lance the most.
Okay. So I need you to roll me a spell attack.
Okay. Well, first I have to embrace the source. So that's Arcana, right?
Oh, that's very true. So go ahead and give me that Arcana check.
11.
Fail.
Fuck.
The spiders. You don't like the spiders.
I don't like spiders.
So they're freaking you out too much. You
I'm
aren't
so
able
freaked
to grasp
out.
the source. You're not able to think of the flower. Every time you think of a flower, you just imagine a spider perched on it, and then the whole image just
That's
goes
what's
away.
happening. That's exactly what's happening.
Pimur, you are up.
All right, I am plunging headfirst into this fucking nonsense.
Well, before you do that, do you have any weapons apart from a gun?
Well, sometimes I can channel. Realistically, I have a dagger.
Would you like, if I give you my axe, since you're pretty tall, is that possible, Lord Master? Am I allowed to give you my axe just in case you can't channel when you're in this close, confined environment?
I would allow it, yeah.
All right,
It is a great axe, so it's going to cause you a little bit of trouble. It's going to be super awkward, but yeah, you can totally do that.
Okay, yeah, I will totally take the proffered axe because there's no way the Ogier is going to manage to...
No,
the Ogier couldn't fit in
get through.
behind.
No.
Yeah. So I will totally take the axe and wiggle my way on in there and...
Okay, so just like Amena, you kind of squeeze your way through and you see the situation, what's going on, and Lance and Amena see Pimur coming through with a big Ogier axe.
Okay, so I'm assuming that attempting to embrace the source and do all that would be my action, so I would not be able to do both, right? Could not try to channel and then also use the axe if it didn't work. Okay. Well then, yeah, I'm annoyed that I wasn't able to channel outside when I needed to, so fuck the power, it's no good anyway. And I will just use this giant axe that's as tall as I am to
1d12.
Okay, I can.
No.
Okay, so that is a wild miss, but my enthusiasm cannot be mistaken for anything but wild enthusiasm.
Yeah, you basically you swing and you're off balance a little bit because it's a big axe. And you kind of have to hop on one foot for a minute and you just kind of wildly fling it around.
I'm gonna duck.
Yeah, so that went really well, guys.
A for effort.
But we'll all die together, except for Quercus.
Okay, so now the spider gets to go. The spider that everybody has been targeting gets to go. And it's going to turn its attention from the flame-wielding maniac and go for the one that just tried to smash it with a large axe. That is a 12.
Damn it, that hits.
Okay, that is 6 damage.
Ow!
And I need a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. 11.
Okay. You also feel what must be the poison starting to course through your veins, but you're wild, you're crazy, you're upset, you're like, nope, don't have time for that, and so you kind of just shrug off the effects.
Sweet.
Quercus, you are up, if there's anything you want to do.
Well, I can't fit through this small cleft in the rocks ahead of me. I also don't want to abandon the group, particularly not whilst I'm holding onto Lance's rope. Let me think. I do not have anything useful that I could even throw down this little hole in the rocks. What should I just pass on in a situation like this?
You could search, what am I trying to say? There are other options, even though you are sort of impeded by your size right now. You could spend some time looking for maybe another entrance. You could, there are other things you could be doing. I will figure it out mechanically if there's a way to make it work. So you just need to tell me what you think Quercus would be doing in this instance.
Okay. In that case, I will do that. I will just tie the rope off on a rock and then scout around within the few hundred meters either side of where we are now to see if there's another entrance, or maybe on top of the area of rock on top of the cave as well.
Okay, go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
7. My rolling today is terrible.
Dice gods are not in your favor. You kind of you wander off to the left and you don't see anything, and you start to wander off to the right, and you're just continually just kind of looking. You haven't seen anything yet, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Okay.
Yeah. And now the spider who I have cleverly named Spider 2 is going to go. I know. And
is its brother Spider Dose?
No. This one is actually going to go for Lance again. That is a 7.
I should have waited till after the attack.
It missed anyway, it's fine. And the third spider, so you have 2 spiders that are kind of harrying you as they're scuttling in and scuttling around. And you notice the third spider is hanging back closer to the bundle in the corner. And it's not doing anything. And we are back up at the top of the round, and it is Amena's go.
All right, I'm going to try again to embrace the source. Because
All
I need to. 24 with a nat 20. I am focused.
Yeah, you're pissed. You're like, oh no. Yes, you are ready to
I'm ready to fuck up some spiders. All right, so I'm going to go for the one that is the most threatening right now that I am seeing in the theater of my mind.
Okay.
With
Spider 1.
I'm going for Spider Uno with a firebolt.
Does it have an eye patch?
It's a 7.
7 will miss.
Fuck. Damn it.
They've got pretty high natural armor, so...
Mechanical question. Does she retain the source for future attacks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. So once you get it, you're good at it.
Faith, that's sort of what we had...
Yeah, unless you drop consciousness or are... As soon as DM determines that battle's over.
Especially with a natural 20, you're like, oh no, This is happening.
Like, my peeps are threatened. It's on, bitches.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Pimur, you are now up.
Okay, would I have seen all of this with the bundle on the ground and the spider
Yes.
defending it?
Yep.
Okay, trying to decide if Pimur would just blind rage keep hacking at the spider or if he would be smart enough to suspect that maybe that is our target and, like, think that maybe he should do something about that.
Well, what's your intelligence?
16?
So you're above average.
Okay, and we were on a mission to find this child, so I am going to attempt to get to the bundle, because I'm assuming that that's the child, and fight that spider off or drag the bundle away or something like that.
Okay. So in this instance, I want you to picture, so there are the two spiders that are harrying you and the one that's hanging back. Technically, one of those spiders is going to get an attack of opportunity on you unless you do it's athletics, right? No, it's acrobatics. You need to do an acrobatics check to avoid the attack of opportunity.
Yeah, I think.
Or you can just let the spider swing at you and see what happens.
No, I think I'm.
If you haven't taken your action or something, you can dodge instead, unless you're trying to attack as well this turn.
I'm trying to get the bundle away from the spiders, because if we can get the kid out of here, then we don't have to kill 3 spiders. We can just bail.
So in that case, I would just disengage so they don't get the opportunity attack.
Okay, and so then could I still, like, well...
You wouldn't be able to attack because you're using disengage as your action instead of attacking for an action.
So then could I attempt to move the kid, or the bundle, that I'm assuming is a kid?
You would be able to get to the bundle. So you'd basically dodge the attack of the first spider and be able to beeline straight to the bundle. And you'd make it, with your movement, you'd be able to make it to the bundle, and then next turn, you'd be able to try and do something.
Okay, well then that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to be super nimble and scoot my way over there.
Okay. And Spider 1 gets to go now. And Spider 1 is going to make an attack. That is a 22 against Amena.
Oh, dude, seriously? No.
You're just glowing so bright with the power. It makes you an easier target.
That hits me.
Not that spiders can channel, so that doesn't make sense.
So that is 5 damage.
Fine.
And I also need a Constitution saving throw from you.
14.
Okay, so you same thing. The spider sinks its little fangs into you, and you feel it start to burn, but you're able to shrug off the effects. You're almost, with a natural 20 for getting, you're almost in avatar state. Like, you basically have glossed over eyes, and you're basically carrying your way through this.
Like that?
The Stephen King carry, not the pick up and move.
So,
carry.
like...
English is dumb.
I'm nodding.
Wait, then if I'm like Carrie, then can I set things on fire with my mind?
Eventually, probably. I mean, isn't that what channeling is your mind?
Well, sort of.
Yeah.
All right.
probably
Something to
get
look
there.
forward to.
Gonna make a custom weave called the Carry.
Yes! Girl, dude, yeah.
I don't know who this Carry person is we're talking about.
Me neither, but I like it.
Lance, you are up.
I wonder. Pimur's on the other side of one of these spiders, right?
Yes,
So does that mean advantage?
it does.
Ooh.
Okay, we're gonna go and swing. Come on, where was that earlier?
Yeah, that's a little rude.
21 with disadvantage, 22 with advantage,
Definitely hits.
6 damage.
Okay.
And then bonus action to swing again. Nat 20
Oh, dude.
Okay.
and 7 damage.
And 7 damage. Okay. So you spin and you slash into Spider 1, and you've done significant damage to it. It's still up, but it is definitely bleeding and looking injured. Quercus, you are up.
Right, so I've scouted one direction. I'm going to check the other direction, maybe south of where I am, for alternative entrances to the cave.
All right. So go ahead and give me another investigation check.
16.
Okay. With the 16, you're sort of looking, and there's a chunk of stone that's sitting in this ridge that doesn't look natural. It doesn't line up with everything else. Mm-hmm. And as you're able to, you get your big ogier fingers around it, and you're sort of able to pull, and it looks like there's a decent sized passage behind it, and someone just basically set a boulder in front of it to block it off.
Nice, okay. So that's my action, presumably, to investigate that. I can't enter via that way.
Investigation's basically a free action at this point, so if you wanted to try and make a strength check to move it, I would let you.
Yes. Okay. I'll do that. 23.
Yep. I mean, you're basically like, why would they put this boulder here? This doesn't make any sense, and you kind of just flop it over, and there you go.
Yes. So I'm going to make a big bellow of delight at that, because I've been very frustrated that all of my friends are in danger and I can't do anything about it.
And you all hear that. You hear it sort of echoey. You hear it from behind you where the one passage was, but you also think you hear it from your right, which would be sort of diagonal to where the bundle is. And at that, there's this, so you hear this sort of big boom, and the room kind of shakes for a second, and Spider 2, who has not been injured yet, seems to spin around, and he scuttles towards one side of the wall and appears to disappear. There might be an opening or a cleft in the wall that you haven't seen yet or something. He straight up leaves.
Oh dear, and I have Quercus's axe.
And
that's going to go well.
Spider 3 is going to spin on Pimur and try and bite for a 15.
Fuck, yeah, that hits.
That is 7 damage.
Guys, we got a problem.
And I need the Constitution saving throw.
Oh, dude.
Oh, fuck, I got a 5.
How many hit points are you at?
1.
1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just took me down to 1 with that fucking bite.
So...
Gonna die heroically, guys, remember me.
Spider 3 leaps up and bites, and Pimur takes it in the arm, and you begin to feel woozy. And Amena and Lance both watch as Pimur's looking at his arm, and then his eyes roll up in the back of his head, and he collapses to the ground.
No!
Fuck. It's only a flesh wound.
Flesh wound? Your whole bloody arm's on the ground. Top of the round, and we are with Amena.
All right, I can't believe this is happening to my friend, so I'm going to try another firebolt, I guess, at the one that just bit Pimur, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I can do this. 16.
16 will hit.
Yes. Yes. Okay, for 11 damage.
Oh.
Girl.
Damn.
I am so mad!
You're so motivated when your
Yes.
friends are in danger.
I am. I'm highly protective.
So you spit out the flame, and it hits the spider, and the smell of burning hairs kind of reaches you as the little tiny sensitive hairs on the spider's legs start burning and curling up. And it makes this shrieky little noise, and it immediately kind of scuttles back and attaches itself to the wall.
Yeah.
And is just looking.
Oh, you die,
and glaring.
motherfucker. I'm gonna kill you.
And Pimur, you are getting skipped. You are not, however, doing a death saving throw. You are unconscious, but you are stable.
Okay.
The poison doesn't do that. It's spider poison. It's meant to disable rather than actually straight up kill.
God.
I'm still at 1 HP then.
You're at 0, but you're stable.
Okay, sweet. I'll take not in the process of dying. That works.
You are not in the process of dying. Okay. And Spider 1 is going to lash out at Lance for a 10, which I don't think hits.
No.
Okay. So you are up.
The one that attacked Pimur, is that the one I beat the shit out of?
No.
Okay, I'm going to start off by attacking the one right in front of me. 22.
That hits.
7 damage.
Okay.
Does it keel over?
It doesn't keel over quite yet, but it is, you basically hack off a couple of its legs, and so it's all like lopsided and wonky. And
Well then, I guess we're just gonna start spinning in circles and get another nat 20 for 9 damage.
Damn.
that'll hit.
Wow.
Okay, and Amena, you watch as Lance cuts off a couple of legs of the spider, and then he just starts working the forms, and his sword's kind of doing this Ginsu motion as you dance around the spider, and you cut it into about 8 pieces, and it falls and is completely dead.
Wow, and I'm just like, you just went up in my my estimation there, sir.
I would be impressed if I wasn't passed out.
I'm very impressed.
Okay, and Quercus, it is your turn.
Is this passageway I've discovered large enough for me to move down unimpeded?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
I will cautiously, not quite a run, but a wary jog down the passage, and then stop as soon as I can see, make out clearly what's going on in the passageway, but not quite in the chamber where everyone else is.
Ogiers have dark vision, correct?
Yes, we have.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you're coming down the passageway, as you're getting near the end of your movement, you see what looks to be, it's not a door per se, but it just looks like someone took a natural opening in the rock and opened it up artificially. And with your dark vision, which is sort of night vision-y, you're able to see the glittering eyes of a spider just sort of sitting in front of this opening.
Okay. So if I use... I don't have my axe anymore, but if I use a longbow, would that be disadvantaged because we're in close confines?
You're not close. You're not within melee combat range of the spider. You stopped before that. You would have been with your dark vision. You would have been able to see it and stop before that. And since you can see, since you have dark vision, it's not disadvantaged for shooting in the dark.
Okay. In that case,
so if you wanted to pull out your longbow, you totally could.
I will do that, making sure that I don't accidentally aim too close to anyone else behind this spider.
Okay.
8. That's not good to do, I think.
You stop and you take kind of a fast aim and you let the arrow loose and it hits the rock floor next to the spider and the spider kind of turns and looks at it, but it doesn't actually connect.
Okay.
And that spider will actually start making its way towards you. And what is its movement? Okay, so the arrow hits next to it, and it spins and looks, and then it immediately skitters towards where the arrow hit, and it starts to kind of whip out at that corner, and it doesn't actually engage with you yet.
Okay.
And that will be its turn. And the spider in with Amena and Lance and Pimur. Now that the threat has been dealt with, Amena and Lance watch as it kind of starts slowly walking over Pimur, and you watch as thick strands of silk start extruding, and it anchors to the back of Pimur's leg and starts walking up his body, just trailing
No.
I'm so glad I'm unconscious and
No.
don't know this is happening.
And we are at the top of the round, and it is Amena's turn.
All right. Guess which spider I'm going for.
I have a feeling.
Your feeling is probably correct, sir. I'm going after the one that is trying to string up my friend with... Now, do I want to do fire... Well, you said Firebolt is really super focused, so if I hit it, it wouldn't hit Pimur.
Correct.
All right, I'm going for Firebolt. 12?
12 will miss.
Oh, damn it. All right.
So then we are skipping Pimur's turn. The spider is dead. Lance, you are up.
I'm going to start running over and hack and slashing. Oh, I don't have advantage anymore, so 7.
7 will miss.
Okay, and we're going to turn around and do my second strike, which is 18.
18 will hit.
4 damage.
Okay. And Quercus, it is back to you.
Yes, so rather than trying to engage with this spider directly again, which seems fairly pointless given that my longbow doesn't really have enough strength to cut through its armor, I'm just going to try to get close enough that it takes notice of me and is distracted from everyone else, and maybe hope that I can lure it further down the passage, essentially back where I've come from, lure it out from away from where everyone else is fighting.
Okay, so go ahead and make me, let's call this a performance check, just to see, or intimidation if that's higher. I don't know if that's higher for you, but
they're both +1, so I'll go for a performance check.
Okay.
Oh, 6. So I start sort of cooing to this spider, hoping that spiders respond to cooing rather than chittering, and evidently not.
Well, you still are making noise, and since it's next in the initiative order, it's going to scuttle up towards you and get within range for an attack. That is a 15. Does that hit?
I have an armor class of 15, but I can use Ogier endurance. So when taking damage, I use reaction to roll d12 plus constitution to reduce the damage. So should I do that? Am I allowed to do that based on what damage score you roll, or do I have to tell you that I want to do it now in advance of when you roll?
I believe it's after you know what the damage is, because you need to determine... I think it's after the damage. The only things that you need beforehand is things that determine whether or not you're hit or not.
Right.
Okay.
So I can tell you, and this is actually a good rules point. So Ogier's Endurance does how much reduction?
D12 plus Constitution.
D12 plus Constitution. So I can tell you that the spider's bite damage is only a D8 plus 3.
Oh, okay.
So if you can use it, and it'll just basically reduce it down to 0, and what I'll do in that case then is just have you roll the Constitution check for the poison.
Well, and keep in mind, it's a roll of d12. It's not just 12 straight up.
Fair. So it would be 10 damage. So if you want to use your endurance, you can absolutely go ahead and do that.
8.
Okay, so you only take 2 damage.
Yeah.
So it reduces it by 2. And I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
4.
Okay, so I'm going to roll. You take 12 poison damage.
Oh, nasty so-and-so.
Lore Master, jeez.
It is literally just the Monster Manual giant spider.
That was not nice.
No.
Yeah, what is it, a CR of 2?
1. Okay, so that spider has acted. Spider 3 is going to continue trying to tie up Pimur, and we are at the top of the round again. What is this, round 4? And we are with Amena.
All right, not on my watch. Going after him again. 17.
17 will hit.
22 damage for a nat 20.
Wait, what?
No, that can't be
No,
right.
you don't roll a d20 for damage.
No, you click on the word Firebolt.
No, I...
In the roll.
Yeah.
The
So
roll
the
that-
17 where it says Firebolt, click on that Firebolt.
0.
So that math is wrong. Hold on.
That's bad math.
I like the roll just above that. Just fine. Basically just like instantly turn into ash.
I almost read Fireball's stuff. 1d10.
1d10. All right.
What is the spell attack modifier?
+2.
Or is it just 1d10 straight up?
1d10.
Oh, but my attack bonus is +2.
Got it.
Okay. 2.
Okay. So, again, you zap it, and it's not looking happy.
Good.
It is definitely injured.
I wish it were more injured. I wish it were dead injured.
Skipping Pimur's turn and going to Lance.
I'm just gonna, sort of like have nightmares about spiders. While all this is going on, I'm just gonna have nightmares.
You poor thing.
Dreaming of this forest called Mirkwood, which you've never been to, and you're not sure why you're dreaming about it, or why there would be giant spiders the size of buildings that you might have been sleeping up
Yeah.
against.
Right. And I also don't understand why my field of vision is so close to the ground. It's really weird.
I'm really short. This is not okay.
Like, is that why the spiders are so much bigger in this strange nightmare? Is it just a perspective thing?
I'm gonna start spinning and killing things. 7. Okay, I'm gonna start spinning and killing things. 9.
Also missing.
Oh, dude.
The adrenaline's wearing off.
It's night at the Bolshoi, but it's all like dramatic flourishes, and nothing is actually hitting.
I wish my sword would stop getting caught on all these cobwebs.
Okay, and Quercus, you are up.
Can I use one of my torches, my spare torches that I have in my pack, to try and set this spider alight?
Well, if you have a spare torch, lighting it would be an action.
Oh.
I mean, you could use it as an improvised weapon and basically club it. Your other option is, since it's right up in your face, you could use your longbow at disadvantage, since you're essentially in melee with it. Or you could just punch it. That's an option.
Punt it down the hallway.
I have reasonable confidence in my strength, but not going against a pony-sized spider. That might be a little bit too much. I'm going to try and get as close as possible then, and I'll shoot the arrow with disadvantage, aiming straight at its head.
Okay, go ahead and roll me an attack at disadvantage.
Remind me how I do the disadvantage throws.
Because you're not actually using the roll 20 for it, you'll have to do your 1d20 plus whatever twice, and it's the lower of those two rolls.
Okay. Or 1d8. Oh.
It's 1d20 to begin with because you have to determine whether or not you hit, and then once you know if you hit, then you roll your damage.
That's last time I rolled my bow. I was also doing d8 rather than d20. Been messing this up.
Oh.
Oh, Oh, yep. No,
Okay.
attack rolls are always d20s.
20.
Okay.
And then the second one is 3. Right.
Okay, so it's right up in your face, and you just,
Yep.
yeah, you're not a fan, so that misses, and that spider is going to try and attack you again for a 14,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
you said your armor class is 15, so that misses.
Sigh of relief there.
Spider 3 is actually going to stop trying to ensnare Pimur and start to try and make its escape, and by crawling up the wall. It just stops. It stops what it's doing and just starts immediately scuttling up the wall. And Amena, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna try Ray of Frost on this guy.
Okay,
That's a 16.
that hits.
And so let's see, 1d10, 3.
Okay, so you begin the weave, and you basically siphon the air and the water, and you make just a line of cold that reaches out to the spider, and it hits it square in the back as it's scuttling up the wall, and it briefly pauses on the wall. It's only a frost where you're not like freezing it solid. You're basically just making it super cold, and then as it's climbing up the wall, it stops, and the legs start to curl in on itself, and it falls off the wall and just kind of thunks and is all curled up and definitely dead.
Oh, nice. Gareth.
Nice. Please say it didn't land on me.
It didn't. It landed next to you. Fun fact: I learned that spiders and real life spiders, they don't have circulatory systems. So the reason they curl up when they die is because their legs are essentially naturally hydraulic by their body. So when their body stops pumping out the fluids and stuff to make them work, it just seizes up like if you took oil out of a
Gross.
machine.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yay, nature facts.
Amina's face and my mental reaction are right on par.
Yeah. Lucky you have 2 arachnophobics in this group.
The 2 natural scientists that are like, yeah, science.
I warned you about spiders. Okay, and Pimur is unconscious, and Lance, you are up. The 2 spiders in your room are dead and gone, but you do hear commotion coming from what looks to be down another passageway.
How far away am I from the great axe?
5 feet, 10 feet tops.
I'm gonna grab it and go running down the hall, assuming that this is the Ogier because big booms, and then the other spider went to go do something.
Good choice.
Okay. So picking up a weapon's a free action. You basically just scoop it up as you're running, and you run, and there's a cleft in the rock, and you basically dip your way around it, and you see this large spider harassing the Ogier. The spider is not focused on you.
What kind of action would you make it for me to try and throw the axe?
Trying to...
An Ogier-sized great axe.
Well, yeah, but you could just basically javelin it, grab the bottom of it and huck it.
Could. I'm going to say you give me a strength check, and Quercus, if you want to give me athletics to see if you can badass snatch it out of the air.
Strength check is 10.
Okay, that's enough. I mean, it's heavy, but you're also a military man, so you're used to picking heavy things up.
17.
Okay, absolutely, yeah. So absolutely, so Lance is like tossing the.
So I'm gonna yell Quercus and then huck it over the spider and watch you grab it out of midair, and then
Ass.
I'm gonna start attacking with advantage because now both of us are on each side of it, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh!
3 of them. That 20.
That hits.
10.
Okay,
And second attack, 21 to AC.
that'll hit.
And 6 damage.
Okay. You basically just come up behind this thing and you're like walloping on it, and it is not in a good place at all. And Quercus, you are up.
Quercus, it's all yours.
I'll yell the Ogier phrase of thanks, man, and then just swing, grab the axe in a single motion, lay into this spider. Presumably, I have advantage as well.
You absolutely do.
7 for my first, and 25 for the second.
That definitely hits.
Nice.
Yeah.
With one roll, I'd go right. So 10 damage.
And you're so lucky because that was a nat 1.
Okay. So picture this whole scene. Lance comes running into the room, hucks the axe. Quercus just grabs it out of the air. Then Lance goes to town on it, and very calmly and professionally and unhastily, Quercus just kind of brings the axe around and brings it down and splits the spider in half, and it is definitely dead.
So badass. That was such an awesome fight scene, and I was fucking unconscious for it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm feeling slightly more relieved that I've at least contributed to this, because the rest of the time my abilities to fight were fairly abject. So
I'm going to look over at Quercus and just be like, nice! And then I'm going to turn and run back to the party.
Run up to everyone else and look really grateful, and then big pats on the back all around.
And that is where we close the book for now. Come join us next time on Just Roll With It.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Are you enjoying Just Roll With It? Do you want to keep up with all of the shenanigans and updates and maybe interact with us online? Follow us on Twitter at @just_roll or Instagram at @JustRollWithAPodcast with underscores between each word. Are you interested in maybe earning cool gaming dice or other awesome perks? Our Patreon is patreon.com/JRWI. We use Sirenscape for all of our sound effects and are a production of Fox and Raven Media.